Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cancer YouTubers Updates. This week we have a few people to talk about, and I want to introduce you to someone new. So let's get into it. Hello, and welcome again to the channel. So today let's start with Eke Acres. Kevin seems to be back to his paranormal stories, his building projects, and his product reviews. He even committed himself to a project over the summer, or at least the warmer weather, to renovate his ex-landlord's camper van. Now, we're going to have cats. Okay. Now, I have problems making commitments to other people. I can make a commitment to things that if I have to cancel, it's fine. But I don't know. I don't think I would do that. That's just me. But I hate disappointing people. And you just never know when I'm going to get sick. But as far as Kevin goes, I feel like he's just feeling invincible. It's crazy. He doesn't actually say anything about his cancer. Like he just wants to get on with things that bring him joy. Can't blame him for that. But he did say earlier in the month that when he got paid by YouTube, that he would be seeing the urologist. Well, I can tell you that G-Daddy payday comes in just a couple of days. So we'll see. I would hope he had an appointment already lined up, but don't know. For now, he just wants to do things that bring him joy, and I can't blame him. The fact is, I don't think that he could have found that while they were stuck in boxes and everything was up in the air. And it might even be why he's been a little grumpy. He seems happier now just doing these things around the house and talking about his paranormal stories. And I might give Kevin the side eye a little bit, but I am happy that he's in his element again. Next up, let's talk about Tiffany. Tiffany Thinks. Tiffany posted 2 times last week. I think the first one was on Sunday, and she had a really good day. It seemed like it anyway. She went and met a friend, and then she had a family event. She even wore her wig and put on some makeup. And you could see the difference in her. I don't mean physically. I mean in her attitude. And it just, I think that alone brought her joy. And, I've talked about this before, that I go to the trouble to put on some makeup and do my hair because you got to push yourself sometimes. It does make me feel better. And near the end of the video, she and her mom went to get a blood test. And then the next video, she talks about her anxieties before getting another treatment. But so far, all seems well. So as always, go support her and send her some love. And speaking of support, if you like this video, please consider going down to the like button and hit that for me. I really do appreciate your support. Moving on now to Caitlin's Cancer Chronicles. Yay, I said that right the first time. Well, Caitlin had a very interesting day, a very scary day, I might say. She had a lot to do with the kids, getting them ready to go back to school. And she also went in for a treatment on her trial, and the doctor sent her to the emergency room instead, where in turn they admitted her for a blood clot. Now, I feel like this is the cancer patient's biggest nightmare, is going to be complications. She took it all in stride. She's so bubbly, but she does say that, she was feeling so good that it came out of left field. And so it wasn't like a complication where she was sick, but it's still pretty scary. Anyway, she also leaves us with a little bit of a cliffhanger because she only gave us half the story, where we leave off as she's in the hospital still. It's a long, it's long to tell some stories. Sometimes I'm tempted to break them in half. But I want you to go catch up because she may have already uploaded the second half of the story. All right. All the best to you, Caitlin. Okay, let's move on to John McClean, Life with Cancer. In John's next installment of his story, he builds an outdoor gym in his garden. He says his garden, but I'm wondering if that's a side of the house or maybe behind the house. I don't know. I assumed it was his backyard, but I don't know. Anyway, it's something that he's been putting off for a very long time. But he decided that since he's got brain surgery coming up, he would be more apt to build this. And he does, and it looks good. I don't think we got to see inside, but it was a very interesting video. I mean, he's a really good storyteller. I have to say, I'm very impressed the way he presents things. He talks a little bit more about the surgery and the possible risks involved. And the video leaves off where he is at the hospital, ready to check in for his big day. So another little bit of a cliffhanger. We'd love to hear from you sooner than later, John. At least I would. He really does keep you engaged. Let me know if he does that for you. I even find myself watching John's shorts about Christ's teachings. I find it very interesting, and I like the way he presents it. So go see for yourself, and hopefully the story will continue soon. Okay, it's Tin Can Ramblers time. On Thursday, Steve and Nancy uploaded a vlog about her day in surgery. She finally went in to get that kidney stone removed after 2 delays. I think one delay was because she had had a seizure, and the other one was because she had a UTI. But everything went off well on this day. And everything's documented. Steve did a great job in narration, and Nancy did a great job just going through it. Steve said she was a trooper, and I that is the vibe that I got. She seemed happy whether she was meeting the surgeon, getting there. She seemed great in recovery. Her spirits were high, and that's what we want to see. So there's also a little surprise twist at the end, and I'm going to leave you with a cliffhanger now because I want you to go see it. It was really, really a happy twist. And very interesting commentary as far as Steve telling the story. And I will leave it at that. Go visit Steve and Nancy and give them some love. So that's it for the ones that are in rotation this week. If you ever want to see who I'm covering currently, go down to the description of my video. At the bottom, there is a list of people I have suggested so far. And maybe if there's someone not on the list, go ahead and visit them. I do appreciate your suggestions. I still have a list of people to go through, introducing you to new ones, and understand that I don't cover everybody every single week. If they're only uploading once a month or once every 2 months, it's very sporadic. I mean, look at Daily Kenji. We haven't heard from him this week, but there was a time he was uploading every month, and then he went to like 3 times in a week. So you just don't know, but I do look at the history of uploads because I can't keep up with people that I forget, obviously. So today, I want to introduce you to Ruth Dye. I know a couple of you do follow her, and I really appreciate that suggestion, so she came up on the list next. And let me tell you a little bit about her. Ruth is 39 years old now, I think she started her channel about 2 or 3 years ago. And she's not someone that had a channel like with a different genre. She came on with the, the purpose of documenting her cancer. She lives in Iowa with her husband, and they have 5 children. And they're all pretty young. I believe her eldest is about 17 now. And she has them like, I don't know, wee ones, not babies, but they're pretty young yet. What I usually do when I check out a new YouTuber, really on any genre, is I go to the videos, the video tab, and then I click on oldest so that it sorts it in order from the oldest so that I can catch up on the basics right away. And then it's easy to scan through them. The fact is that a lot of Ruth's videos are kind of short, and so they're pretty easy to binge. So I did that. And I saw probably 98% of them, which is what I will suggest that you do. Ruth was very nervous in her first video. Oh my gosh, I kind of felt for her, but she got more comfortable as time went on. And I mean, she's much more comfortable with it now. She just talks to you like she's an old friend. And the more that I saw Ruth's videos, the more I found myself liking her, like more and more. She's very sweet. She's innocent. There's just a quality about her. And that's another reason that you can binge watch it pretty easily. There are some people that, like, I need to grab the content, but they're a hard watch, if you know what I mean. So here's the information I gathered so we can catch up. About 2 years ago, Ruth was diagnosed with colon cancer. She was 37 at the time, and she had, I don't know if they found this out right away, but she had and still has 43 tumors on her liver. So that means it has spread. She had 17 chemo treatments. 17. I don't know what the cocktail was. Her hair thinned out, but she didn't lose it completely. But you could see it beat her up. It really beat her body, but you talk about troopers. She'd been through a lot. And unfortunately, after the 17th treatment, they said there really wasn't anything they could do, and she was terminal. That was about 5 months ago. And she actually made a goodbye video that was very sad. But she came back with some more content after that. The irony, she found out later, was all of that chemo was a waste. Her body was not absorbing one of the medications. So the other one could never have made it on, on its own. She had some kind of malabsorption issue, and they didn't know it. And that upsets me because chemo is so hard to begin with. My mother passed away from the chemo treatments before she passed away of the cancer. And she wouldn't be here today. That cancer was unfortunately going to win that battle. But could she have gone a different way, a better way, an easier way? I think so. I don't know if that's God's plan. I don't know if, what it is, but my gosh, I just wish they would come up with some more targeted therapies so that people didn't have to go through this. Or at least, I don't know, however they found out that it wasn't effective, they should have found out sooner. Nobody should have to go through what she went through. And you'll see in her videos, the side effects were rough. And here, she's maintaining a soccer mom schedule the entire time. 5 children. That's a lot of work. I mean, Caitlin knows that too. So 3 months ago, she did a video where she was at MD Anderson in Houston. I imagine that's a place a lot of people go when there's no other hope. You just want to make sure that there's absolutely nothing else you can do. And I don't blame her. I think it was a good move for her. Unfortunately, that's when it was confirmed that her tumors were getting larger and it had spread to her lungs. MD Anderson told her there was nothing that they could do but offer her a chemo agent orally that was offered to me simply to prolong her time. And whether she took it or not, I don't know. I don't think it was clear in that video, but the tumors were growing fast at that point. In December of 2025, just a few months ago, she entered into hospice at home. And I don't think you can be in hospice if you're on any kind of treatments, but I don't know about that chemo agent because it isn't going to save her life. So maybe that would have been an exempt kind of medication. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. It's just going by logic. About a month ago, she started planning her funeral and doing all the end-of-life chores. She said she can't drive anymore. I'm hoping by now her eldest is driving, because I know that having 5 kids and it seemed like they all had different activities to do, and I'm hoping that she has help with that. And as a result of being home more, that's why I think she's uploading a little bit more than she was before. And doing end-of-life chores can be very sad, but she's making a journal and putting things together to leave her legacy for her children. She has some young ones. She wants them not to forget her. She wants to make sure they know who she is through their lives. And I think that's an awesome thing to do. I think more people should do that. I've seen people that have passed, you have time, write a note. Just leave a letter, just dictate something in a recorder. I mean, I think that people know that you love them. But I've done some legacy videos before, people that have left letters and things for their children that got published. And I probably am due to do that again. But I think the takeaway is, if you think it's a good idea, then you should probably do it yourself, even if you're not sick. Lots of people that are healthy have their affairs in order. And these aren't really affairs. These are more than just paperwork. I mean, her husband's living, and I'm sure he's going to take over anything that she's doing. But I love that she's leaving like a journal and things like that for her kids. I think that's fabulous. And I feel that this is definitely her final chapter. She seems to accept it and understand that God has a plan for her that she doesn't have to understand right now. That gives her strength. You can tell she likes connecting with her audience. And, I don't know how long she'll be here, but I do hope that you'll go see her and support her. And I think if you do, you're going to be happy that you follow her. So like I said, do a little binge watching and send Ruth Dye some love. Well, that's it for today. Oh my goodness. So much going on. There's always so much going on. And there is someone else I'd like to introduce you to that I'm hoping that we'll have time to do that next week. So with that said, thank you so much for supporting my channel. And I'll have a couple of videos up this week as well, but I will see you in the next update next week, if nothing else. All right. You take care. Enjoy your Saturday. Bye.